What's going on, bold goal crushers? How are you doing? Happy
everyone.
2024. Our names are Mary and Jill, and we own a company called Girls Mentorship. And Sarah asked us to come on because we work with teens and tweens. Yes, the name of our company is Girls Mentorship. However, we've worked with boys over the last 3 years as well. So she wanted us to drop some knowledge on what it took to help your kids set some goals for the new year, which, if you can't tell from the scene going on behind us,
We got lots of goals.
that's what we've been in the work of over the last few days in terms of what we want to see transpire in our personal lives as well as our professional lives. So she said we don't have to be polished. So we're going to do this in one take and kind of give you a little bit of a roadmap as to where we've seen success in helping the teens and tweens we work with set some goals and actually work towards them. So without further ado,
let's get into it.
let's get into it.
I think the biggest thing that we really want to say in this conversation and what we want you to take away is not about the checkbox, like not getting to the goal and saying, yay, I did that. I'm now happy, or I'm now accomplished. I'm now successful. The thing that we want you to take away, not only for yourself, but then to teach this to your kiddo, is who are you becoming on the journey to accomplishing that goal? Or who did you become when you didn't accomplish the goal?
Oh, when you
Right?
didn't, right? Because if we wrap so much of our thought process, actions, emotions into achieving a goal and we don't achieve the goal, what happens? So not that achieving or not achieving goals is unimportant, because setting those goals initially is important. However, we lose focus in terms of who we're working to become, right? A book that I will recommend time and time and time again, I think I'm on my 24th time reading it, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think the beginning of a year is the perfect time to start that book. It is incredibly easy to digest. It doesn't really get too deep into the science of habit creation. And I say that to say you could read it or listen to it alongside your kids, and I feel like they will grasp the concepts in it. And a major thing that he focuses on is just what Jill said. And that happens to be a major focus in our business as well. We like to say we focus on the who goals, not the do goals, because the do goals are fleeting, right? It is like a checkbox. You get there, you check it off, you're on to the next thing.
Let's go. Yeah.
But who did you become along the way? So did you become perseverant? Did you become resilient? Did you become fill in the blank? Because those are the transferable skills that we want you, yes, as an individual and a parent, to focus on. But that's what the mindset that we want you to bestow onto your children as well. It is important to become somebody along the way, not achieve a thing along the way.
So we're going to bust the idea of SMART goals, because that's so 2000
and late.
Fergie reference. And if you like that format and that works for you, fantastic. We're inviting you to try on a new way to goal set. So let's get into a couple of things to set the stage to then really have something practical to practice with your kid. So first and foremost, rule number one as a parent is you need to let go of your own expectations around what your kids should be accomplishing in 2024. So more of a teammate mentality versus a team manager.
Oh, bow, 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 bow.
Whoa.
Say it again for the people in the back, right?
And more of a teammate.
Like, less of a team manager.
Let's hold hands together versus me stepping in front of you and pulling you.
Or setting the goals for your kids because it's what you want them to accomplish and they have zero desire to accomplish that thing. And I can see some of you now saying, well, what about good grades? Or what about getting into the AP classes? That's all well and good. Good grades are awesome. And we want kids to focus on that. However, if they don't care about it, they're not going to focus on it. And it's going to be like pulling them through the mud to get them to accomplish the thing. When in reality, if I'm going to be really, really honest, when was the last time somebody asked you the grade that you got in AP chemistry? Because the last time I checked, no one has asked me a single question about my grades in high school. So they're important in the now. I don't want to diminish how important they are now.
Right.
However, what is more important is setting your kid up for success, for goals that they'll shoot for when they're beyond the nest, when they're no longer in your household. And how do we do that? We do that by the same team mentality. So like Jill just said, you're a teammate. You're hyping them up. You're supporting them. You're asking them to live up to their potential, right? You know they're worth more, and how do they know they're worth more? As opposed to being a team manager and chastising them for maybe goals that you feel like are too small or goals that you don't think that they should spend time or energy on. You just have to remember that they're not your goals. And as much as it might pain us as a parent to watch our kids shoot for things that we don't want them to shoot for, the more you tell them not to do something, the more they're going to want to do that thing. You have to reverse psychology the situation a little bit.
Yep. And I want to give like a real example. I have 2 kids, and I have a kiddo who definitely is expressive. I wonder where he gets it from. But he has this energy and presence about him where I'm like, I think you would be really good at acting or theater. And he's like, no.
Singing.
No.
This little boy is doing the center splits in the middle of the outfield on the baseball field.
Exactly.
Like he would absolutely thrive.
And the reason why I want to challenge our own thought on this is because you as the parent know. He is saying no to me because he's never done it before. So I want to encourage him. I am gonna push him in this regard to say, hey, just try it. And if you don't like it, I'm gonna let go of the idea that it's going to make me happy.
But that's also the reverse psychology portion of it. It's not you trying to manage his goals.
Right.
It's you trying to steer him towards something that he might like, right?
Because guess what? My kids could be like, hey, I don't want to go to school anymore. And it's like, well,
okay, cool. Let's stay home. You got to do those things.
Exactly.
So how do you get him invested in it? By asking certain questions or giving him opportunities to test the water and then make the final decision. But what you just said is releasing your expectation towards the outcome, which I think is chef's kiss.
And you teed me up for the next thing as parents that we need to do. So the next crucial piece in you managing your kiddos' goals is let go of the desired results. So everything that we were just talking about, and really focus on the emotion. So what do we mean by that? How do we reverse engineer the actions so that they're accomplishing more things that are bringing them joy and excitement and relief versus us just saying, okay, you need to achieve this. But it's like, hang on, are they excited about that thing? Are they stressed about that thing? So it's really important to check in on, okay, how are you feeling in the process? So who are you becoming, but also how is it making you feel?
And I think a really good example of that, which I will accept your help in this, is friendship. So a big thing, which I know you know if you're a parent, friendship is life. It is one of the most important things that really going into 5th grade, 4th, 5th grade, then into middle school is like top tier priority. So you brought up the word relief, like if they want to feel relieved. And I want to paint that within friendship because there's a big push-pull, right? Your teenager is changing every single day. So maybe you don't know who they are. because they don't even know who they are.
Yep.
Statistics around friendships are staggering. It is said that 1% of friendships remain from 7th to 12th grade. So if you made a friend in 7th grade and you're part of the 1% that remains friends until 12th grade, you're part of the minority, which is incredible. But that just speaks to the fact that all of these kids are ebbing and flowing and changing. So maybe a goal of your child is to let go of their own expectations around how they want to show up in friendships.
That is so
and that's the feeling of relief that they want to experience. So as a parent, you can help give them strategies. And honestly, even better than strategies, I think, is storytelling similar experiences. And not just from your childhood, but like in your current life as it is right now. How do you also become a teammate for your child in terms of inviting them into struggles that you're having as an adult? Because I think we all well know that once we become an adult, doesn't negate the fact that we have our own issues within relationships and namely friendships. So giving them a play-by-play of what's going on in your life will help them feel like they're human, and that the problems they're experiencing aren't just solely them, right?
I love this because when I think of goals for my kids, I really do think of sports or school or maybe something
Academia.
yeah, or something that I'm like,
athletics.
do you want to play the guitar? But when I think of what you just said, it's really powerful. What friendships are serving you and what aren't? And then setting a goal around supporting them in either maintaining and relishing those relationships or shedding those relationships. That's a really, really good call out.
Well, we just can go through life. And I know everyone on the other side of the screen can relate to this because it's human psychology. We can go through life with blinders on. And if we're not careful, 10 years goes by and we're like, how did I get here? Right. And that includes within our relationships. So sometimes a friend of ours might be making us feel uncomfortable or overstepping boundaries. And we don't say something one time and one time turns into 100 times. And we really just then put up with it because we don't think that we can say anything now that we're too far down the path to say anything, or we begin to not notice it and we just allow the person who is overstepping boundaries to continue to pretend like they're our superior. And kids are very, very, very easily susceptible to this type of behavior because they so desperately want friendships. And when they so desperately want friendships, they're willing to compromise who they are and the values that they have. So even prior to goal setting, I would challenge you to establish personal values, not family values. I mean, if you haven't done that, you should probably do that as well, but have them really think about what is important to them, because when they can like identify what's important to them, there will be instances in their day where somebody will say something and it'll go against their values, and they'll learn then what their voice is and how to stand up for themselves, or say, hey, that's not for me.
Right.
That person is a drain on my energy and my time, and I'd like to disassociate from them.
I love it. So now that we've kind of set the foundation of how you as a parent should approach goals, let's talk about the practical ways to help your kiddo set some cool things and achieve cool things and become something awesome in 2024. So,
in a way that's also not overbearing.
Absolutely. 1000%. And that it isn't, again, just focused on the goal, but how are we looking at their emotional health, their motivation? There's so much more around goals that we need to be talking about that I think gets lost in the
New Year's resolution.
Yeah. And
right?
in the format of SMART goals. I'm like, hang on, we got to develop the whole person.
Well, and there's a trap. There's a New Year's trap. And it's like,
don't get caught in
I have all of these goals, so I'm going to overhaul my entire life. And what happens in trying to overhaul your entire life, I touched on it a few minutes ago in terms of psychology, we're creatures of habit. So by the time we really hit 30, our way of being, including our personality and our moods, are really set in stone. You have to make a very conscious effort to change your habits and the things that you're used to. Because here's a fun fact for you: 95% of our day is spent on autopilot. It's the things that take very little brain power to do because we're just so used to doing them. And the best example that I can come up with now is getting in your car. Do you remember when you were 15 and a half and you were going to take your permit and the man or woman was testing you so you could go from permit to driver's license? You did everything right. Seatbelt check, hands 10 and 2 check, mirror check, boom, boom. You pulled out so slow. I mean, you did it all right. How is that different from when you get in your car now? It is very, very, very automatic. And I'm not just talking about the shifter, because those are all automatic nowadays too. However, you don't have to think about it twice. Half of you probably don't remember how you got home today because you were daydreaming about something else. So we get caught up in these New Year's resolutions and we think we're going to overhaul our whole life and we expect the people around us to do the same, and you fail. I think the statistic is 75% of people fail in their goals, their New Year's resolutions, by February 14th. So we want to introduce some easeful tools and tactics that can sustain the test of time and not be burdensome and not be overwhelming to accomplish in order to seek change and or reach goals.
I love it. And I saw something on someone's page last night around seasons too. So a lot of times we buy into this whole, oh, new year, new me mentality. And she put it in a term that I was like, oh, that's interesting. So she's like, we're in our winter season. Winter is kind of cold. You go within, and all of a sudden the New Year's come and people are like, summer, let's have our new body. Let's go and have fun and do all the things. But we forget that that winter really is the season to kind of, not hide or hibernate, but really
Restore.
figure out what it is that you want in this year. So also take your time, give yourself grace, and give your kiddos grace as well, because they're learning from you. So enjoy the winter season in winter.
And yes, in case you're wondering, this is a Stanley Cup. I am 35. I'm not a Gen Alpha or a Gen Z, but my bestie and business partner got it for me for Christmas because all the kids are doing it. So how many of you wrapped one of these and put it under the tree for 100%. Your kids?
100%. Okay, so let's talk about practical ways, 5 practical ways that you can incorporate goal conversations with your kiddos. And really this format it's capturing key elements from the science of goal seeking, emotional health, and motivation. So again, looking at things holistically, not just the checklist. So number 1, and by the way, when you answer these questions, it's okay to have one word. Like a 1-word entry is a-okay.
It doesn't have to be
a long
exhortation.
Exactly.
Doesn't have to be a blog post.
Especially with kids. You know your kids when you ask them how school was.
And realistically, that's a good segue into, when do your kids like to talk to you? For a lot of people, have these conversations quick, easy. Again, same team mentality. Don't push, don't press, don't nag, don't lecture. We're trying to teach here, right? So in the car, that's a great place to have conversations. Is it on the way to school? Maybe not, because
they're still waking up.
They're razzled, they're frazzled from you trying to shuffle them out the door because they're always running late.
Right. Maybe it's in between practice, like going from home to practice when they're excited, they want to be motivated. This could be a really cool way for you to say, hey, who do you want to be? And these quick 5 things are easy to remember, easy to have them rattle it off for them to then go kick some major butt in the thing that they're going to go and do. Or my kids they love to talk to me right before bed.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we hear this a lot from the parents that we work with. We got some nighttime talkers, and that makes sense. Can you tell I'm the science one? Because your brain waves go from, it's like crawling up a ladder as you're waking up. I don't remember the exact order, so do not quote me, but it's beta, theta, alpha. We operate in beta on a daily basis. So I'm in beta right now. And when we start to fall asleep, our brain waves slow down, which opens up the portal, figuratively speaking, to be more tired. And your walls are more down. So your kids are more open to conversations because they're a little bit more sleepy. So you can be a little ninja and work your way into helping them formulate these 5 questions.
Yeah. So first question is asking your kiddo, what are 5 things that you're grateful for? What are 5 things? And allow them, if they need a little prompting because you haven't done this, give them an example. Is it the roof over your head? Was it your teacher today? Was it the conversation that a stranger complimented you on your cool new shoes? So have them look for the good in their day, because when they start to feel good, they're going to start looking for the good.
Right? That's your reticular activating system. And you know it because you've said, I would like to buy a red Corvette. And then all of a sudden you see red Corvettes everywhere.
Prince comes down the street.
Little red Corvette. When you can focus, your energy goes where your focus goes, honestly. And another driving reference, since we're, talking about being 16 and little red Corvettes. Have you ever noticed that when you're driving and you see something on the side of the road, you start driving towards that thing and you look back, you're like, oh, shoot,
how
right?
did I get there?
This is true for things in your physical world as well as what you start to notice up here. So when they can be intentional about picking out things they're grateful for, they'll start to do that second nature. It won't take them a second to think about what they're grateful for. They'll just naturally see things that they're grateful for.
Second is talk about the plans for the day. So again, it's not your plans, but allow them to start to kind of imagine, well, what do I want to do today? And who do I want to play with? What do I want to be up to? And allow them to kind of paint the picture of their plan for the day. And then it's like, cool. Well, what are you going to do about that? Like, oh, my kids love recess. They love going to school early. They love to go play. And so it's like, okay, what's the plan for the day? Well, I want to go to recess. We got to get to school early. That is a goal. A goal for us is to be prompt in our morning routine so that we can leave on time so that they can play before the school bell actually rings. So little teeny tiny things like that where I'm listening to then pull out, oh, okay, well, we got to leave early. You guys got to get your stuff done in order for us to do the things that you want to be up to.
I love that because that is also in Atomic Habits by James Clear. People fear that if they have too much structure, then there won't be time for play. However, when you can have structure and you have systems in place, you don't rise to the goals that you set, you fall to the structure, the lack of structure that you have in your life. So we would push back and say the more structure that you can have in your life, the more systems that you have in your life, the more freedom you have for play.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it could be one thing. So, sometimes it's going to be video games and you're like, okay, what else? Like I'll start to question other plans because you're like, I know what you're going to do today, but allow them to like imagine what can be possible for them so that they can go and be independent. They can explore. They can
create.
Yeah. Exactly.
As opposed to consume, because that's where the video games roll eye comes in, right? So allow them to be creative in this as well. Number 3 is asking them, what are your fears or resentments? And you obviously might have to get into the word resentment. They might not know what it means, not knocking anybody's intelligence level, but since we work with this age demographic,
reminders are nice,
namely 10 to 18 years old, it is always a good idea to say, do you know what that means? Because if they don't know what it means, guess what? they're going to nod their head as if they know what it means.
Yeah.
And then they're going to tune you out for the rest of the conversation because they're going to be caught up on what they don't know that means. So maybe it's going in to take a test and they're fearful of that test. Fear grows when we don't talk about it. When fear is kept in the dark, it grows and it gets scarier and bigger and scarier and bigger. But when we can openly talk about what we're scared about and bring other people into our fears for love and support, and maybe you're scared of the same thing, so you're relating to them, that helps their fears go from to.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking for in this share.
And creating a goal around it. Hey, today, what I just want you to do is to do your best. Maybe they are really afraid of that test. And it's like, honey, again, just you're prepared. And I want you to know I believe in you. And just do your best. That's the goal for today. How amazing is that kind of goal?
Well, and I love that you called that out, because as a society, we think that our goals need to be these big gargantuan things that get all of this notoriety from people, these accolades that are so noteworthy. And we forget that getting to these big noteworthy goals takes tiny bite-sized steps that are also worth calling out and praising.
100%. So number 4 is things to watch out for. So what in your day what do you need to watch out for today? So I have a 4th grader and he loves to talk about the boys in 4th grade and, the football drama, the after school drama. And it's like, okay, well, what are we watching out for today? Is it that kid wasn't kind to you today and you didn't like that yesterday? So let's watch out for that today. And then you get to make a different choice and find a new friend to sit with. So what else are they watching out for? And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Maybe they're really excited to watch out for somebody that they've been excited about, Taylor Swift coming into town, and they get to go to her concert. So allow them to talk to you, good, bad, or ugly, not making anything right or wrong, to then really extract what it is to potentially set a goal around.
Love that. Number 5,
last but not least,
is things to strive for. What does that mean, Jill?
What are we striving for? So what are the things, what do you want to accomplish today? And it doesn't have to be
big.
I want to be on the principles list. I want to strive today. My kiddo especially was like, lying is so 2023.
Oh, 2000 and late again? Another 2003.
We're really closing, or we're landing the plane here.
We are. Her kid wasn't even born in 2003.
No, but just something to strive for. Like, I don't want to be a liar. I want to, so in every interaction, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be honest. And if you're not, then we're going to have a conversation about it. But that's striving. I want to strive to be honest. I want to strive to be kind. I want to strive to not compare myself to the girl that's popular because I desperately am trying to fit in and belong.
And with these 5 things, so let's just go through them real quickly one more time. You're asking for 5 bits of gratitude. Again, one-word answers are totally fine. What are your plans for the day? Do you have any fears or resentments? What are things to watch out for? And what are things to strive for? A word of caution. This might not take the first day.
Right.
It might not take the second day. It might not take the 35th day. What we're doing is planting seeds. What we're doing is watering those seeds. What we're doing is making sure those seeds get enough sunshine. Consistency really matters with your kids, because when they hit a certain age, what they're asking for is for you to prove that you love them. And that sounds ridiculous. I get it. You provide a roof over their head and food on the table and clothes on their body. And if you're anything like Jill here, you drive them from Sky Zone to KTR to football to baseball to all the things. You're like, prove that I love you. Are you kidding me? They're in a mental state. They're in a state of development where that's what they're seeking. That's the feedback they're seeking from this world. That includes you. So consistency really matters in your approach. So they know that you really care and you're the safe space that they can share all of these things with and open up to. So don't give up or get mad that your tween might not be wanting to partake in this exercise with you right away. Or maybe they do 2 days and the third day they're over it. Give them grace and give them space by continuing to show up as the solid rock that you are, by not, reacting to them, but responding to them with your calm in the storm.
I love it. We're going to land on that as a team. Like
Motto.
being a team player with them. It's that team mentality versus the team manager. I think that is really beautiful. And you know what, you guys are going to crush it. Absolutely, you're going to crush it. The fact that you're watching this video, the fact that you're going to implement some tactics and strategies tells us that you guys are up to big things in 2024. You want your family to be up to big things in 2024. And you have 2 girls right here that are cheering you on along the way. And we can't wait to hear how this goes for you and what comes from it. Because most importantly, again, it's not about the do, it's about who you're becoming.
It's not about the do, it's about the who, y'all. So who are you becoming in 2024? Like Jill said, we're your teammates in this journey, biggest cheerleaders you could ask for. Sarah will verify that. And until next time, until we get the pleasure of being in your presence, Happy New Year and good frickin' luck. Let's go, y'all.
Bye, everyone.